Hey guys, it's Alan. It's Sunday night and I'm doing my weekly check-in. So first, we'll talk about my weigh-in, and I weighed in this morning, and I was down 2 pounds, which was basically the 2 pounds that I gained last week. So I've been yo-yoing back and forth between 386 and 388 for like the last 2 to 3 weeks. So hopefully this week I'm gonna break that cycle and uh, get closer to that 100 pound goal, or not goal, milestone. And so that's really all that's been going on with my weight. It was a good week overall, but uh, it is what it is. So we'll see what happens this week. I know I'm going to work on getting more sleep this week. I know I've been kind of lacking in that department, and also I'm going to work on increasing my water intake. It is getting hotter, so you do need more water than you would, in the colder months. So those are the two things I'm going to work on this week, and continue the rest as is, and hopefully we'll see another loss next Sunday. But other than that, I just want to talk about Father's Day. Um, so I lost my dad in 2000. It was some of you have already heard the story and whatnot. I won't get into it tonight, but I only had 20 years with my dad on Earth, and it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for me, and I miss him so much, and I still wish he was here. There wasn't. I mean, I would give up anything I own, anything that's coming to me in my future, um, my life. I would give up my life just to see him again. And I usually cry when I talk about him, but I promised myself I wasn't gonna cry today, because I just want to remember him in a positive way. Not that there's anything wrong with crying. I think crying can be very healing. And I do cry from time to time when I think about him, but it's only because I miss him and I just wish he was here. But so I did want to share with you guys two memories that I had of my father. And these are just two memories that I have lots of memories, but these are two that I just was thinking about today, and I thought I would share with you guys. So the first one is when I was young. I don't remember how old I was. Probably phone's going off, but it's okay. I was probably 8, 9 years old, something like that. And my dad had this briefcase that he kept all his important documents in. And I was a kid. I used to go through my dad's stuff a lot. I mean, that's what kids do. They go through their parents' stuff. And so I was going through this briefcase, and I found this. Turn my phone on silent. Sorry. I found this birth certificate, and it had my birth date on it, but it didn't have my name. I had my last name, but I had a different first name. So I just began like thinking, and I was like, that's really weird. Why would there be a birth certificate with my birth date and then another person's name, like another male? So in my head, I came to the conclusion that I had a twin brother that died at birth, and my parents never told me about it. So I went on the whole day, and I was very upset about it. I didn't talk to my dad. I was sort of giving him the cold shoulder all day, and he knew something was up because we were very close, and we talked about everything. And if he was home when I was home, and we would be together. So the fact that I was avoiding him and giving him a cold shoulder, he knew something was wrong. So finally that night he confronted me about it, and he kept asking me what was wrong, why I was mad, why I wasn't talking to him. So I told him the story, and I told him I was upset because I started crying, and I was like, you never told me I had a twin brother and all this, and I was like, why didn't you tell me, blah blah blah. And he was like, what are you talking about? And so I went inside and I got him the birth certificate, and he started laughing. I mean, he was just rolling. I mean, he was laughing so hard. I couldn't figure out why he was laughing at the time. And he was like, he's like, you don't have a twin brother. He told me the story. So apparently, when my mom was pregnant with me, my dad and her had a disagreement about what they wanted to name me. And when I was born, my dad was out of town on business. So my mom thought that since he was out of town, that she could, be slick and name me what she wanted to name me, and she did. So a day later, when my dad came back into town, he found out that she had named me what she wanted to, not what he wanted to, and he changed it. So he had, he had a copy of that old birth certificate, and so that was the whole story. So that was, whenever I think of that, I start to laugh because it's just a funny situation. And as a kid, your mind just creates all these crazy stories. Actually, my mind still does. So, but that's the first memory. The second memory is growing up. My dad was a mechanical engineer, so very sharp guy. I mean, one of the smartest men I've not man, but person, smartest people I've ever known in my life. So he was very high on math. We always were. We studied a lot of math when I was young. My dad actually had like a quasi classroom in our house with desks, and he had a whiteboard, and he would lecture me and my sisters on on math, on science, lots of different subjects. He would teach us in there, and but math was really where my dad shined, and he loved it. He had a passion for it. So I remember as a kid, through elementary, middle school, high school, when I would code, he would help me with my homework. Every math problem, every single problem, my first thing my dad would say would be, "Let's draw a picture." And it used to drive me nuts as a kid. I didn't want to draw a picture. I wanted the quick solution. I wanted him to tell me how to do the problem so I can get it over with, do my homework, and go outside and play. And he would never budge. He'd constantly say the first step is you have to draw a picture. So if you don't draw a picture, you're not going to be able to solve the problem. So that continued, like I said, through elementary, middle, and high school. Um, it wasn't until years and years later, after my dad had passed away and I was in college, um, I studied construction engineering, which is a branch of civil engineering, um, as my undergrad. And I remember I was taking my first engineering class. It was statistics, not statistics, statics. Statics is basically the study of the physics behind structures, such as buildings, bridges, anything that doesn't move. Typically in physics, some of the forces equals mass times acceleration, but in statics, it is some of the forces equal zero because there is no acceleration. We assume. I mean, even though structures do move, but we assume that the accelerate. Okay, this is turning into like a engineering conversation. So, anyways, uh, first engineering class, statics. I was sitting there. I was in the front row. I mean, and I remember this like I remember this forever. And I remember the teacher's name, Dr. Gupta. He walked in and he started. He said, "Welcome to your first engineering class." He said, "Does anybody know the first step to solving a problem, any engineering problem?" Nobody said anything, and he wrote it on the board. He put number one, draw a picture, and I just sat there and I sort of sat back and I was just like, it was like an aha moment. My everything got really warm and I was just like started. I smiled and I was like, well, Dad, Baba, you were right. First step is drawing a picture. You know, and I kind of told myself inside you were right. So I don't know. That's a memory that stands out in my head. Because I just remember all those times my dad told me to draw a picture and I fought him on it. And then when I get to college, that's the first thing they said, draw a picture. First thing they said in my first engineering class. So those are two memories I just wanted to share with you guys. I don't have nothing else to add this week. I'm just gonna, hope to have a good week this upcoming week. I really want to see the scale start to move back down. And that's it. I hope everybody had a great week, a great weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there and also the mothers who play both roles. I know In some situations, moms play the role of mom and dad, and vice versa. Um, just to be fair, but I can I can never imagine myself uh, turning my back on on my child if I had a child, or one day when I do have a child. So I don't know what goes to those people's minds who do turn their backs on their children. All I know is one day they'll wake up and they'll be sorry. Sorry they did it, and you know. But anyways, have a great week. Have a great week this week. You know, make sure you get your workouts in. Eat right, get that water in, and get that sleep because that's those are things I'm gonna be working on. So, see you guys next Sunday. Take care.